The photo you are looking at right now is of young 2-year-old Alexandria Hill. She was recently murdered by a foster mother. This foster mother had records of previous abuse of other children before, but somehow young little 2-year-old Alexandria Hill was still thrown into this foster mother's care. And you're probably wondering, why? Why was this cute little girl at age 2 thrown into foster care? Are you ready to get your jimmies rustled? Are you ready to get mad? Are you ready to get angry? She was thrown in foster care because her father occasionally smoked marijuana. And by occasionally, I mean she was in a loving household with 2 parents that loved and cared for her. And Child Protective Services in the state of Texas, but it's in the state of Texas, so should you really be surprised? Should you really be surprised that the state of Texas would be responsible for the death of this young girl? Now, obviously, the real blame is Sherry Small, the woman who actually picked this young 2-year-old's head and bashed it into the floor 3 times so hard that the child had a brain hemorrhage and died. That's what we're dealing with here. And Child Protective Services in the state of Texas thought it would be a great idea to apprehend their child, take their child from their household, because the mother had a medical condition in which she had seizures, okay? She had seizures, and, you can't just cure seizures, and the mother was required to be, always have somebody in the room with her. She wasn't supposed to be left alone. So, because of that, the mother was being taken care of by the father, Joshua Hill, and on occasion, he's not even a big marijuana smoker, but he occasionally smokes marijuana when his daughter is sleeping. And because of that, somehow Child Protective Services found that out, that he smoked marijuana, and that the mother had a medical condition of seizures, and they decided, well, you know what? Marijuana's a bad thing, so we're going to take your daughter for childhood neglect. Childhood neglect. Childhood neglect. And so they took this young girl, threw her in a foster care home with a woman who has a record of previously abusing children already. And now she died. Young 2-year-old Alexandria died because of the choices and decisions by the state of Texas on the war on drugs. 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 The war on drugs needs to stop. Specifically, what I'm referring to is marijuana. Is society going to crumble if we legalize marijuana? Did you know that the United States has the highest incarceration rate? Why? Because we put people in jail and prison for smoking marijuana. A little smoke. I've smoked marijuana. I've tried it a few times now. The war on drugs killed this young little girl. And to think that your taxpayer dollars, our money that we donate to the states, are going towards things like this to combat marijuana, which is not a problem. Marijuana is not an criminalizing drug that is changing society, that makes people go crazy like heroin or crack or, meth, things like that. I can understand the war on drugs regarding those hard types of drugs. I understand that. Because those are damaging to people dramatically, to the point of where they can react, and those types of drugs are scary. But marijuana? Really? One of the reasons I don't like reading the news anymore, and one of the reasons why I haven't covered any news stories for quite some time on my channel, is because when I read things like this, it makes me depressed as fuck. It makes me depressed waking up every day, reading the news, and say, hey, look, a little cute girl, 2 years old, Alexandria Hill, died because the state of Texas thought, hey, your father smoked marijuana once, that means he's neglecting his child, so let's throw her into a foster care and then have her killed because the foster care parent is abusive and abuses children. That's the world we live in, ladies and gentlemen, where all your money goes towards the war on drugs. We pay police officers to detain and arrest people for smoking marijuana, or, it varies from state to state, But I'm glad I live in a state of Washington where marijuana is legalized, at least medically anyway. But the point is that the war on drugs needs to stop. Our money, and I can't pull out statistics because I don't know, statistically speaking, how much money we spend on combating the war on drugs, specifically marijuana, but it's not worth it. My money going towards these pathetic causes are not worth it. Especially if it results with the death of a child.